This episode of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live is brought to you in part by Viewfinder's Identity Search and Design. Your choice for web design, graphic design, and all multimedia development needs. Visit VFISAD.com and let us bring your vision to reality.
Previously on Talk Time Live exclusive.
You did it. You made my city happy. I'd like to thank you for getting none other than Tom Holland, the Amazing Spider-Man, here in Philadelphia. Yep. My goodness.
Yeah, no, we are so excited to be able to have Tom Holland and bring him into the city of Philadelphia, and all the fans that are so excited to meet him. I can't imagine someone, more popular out of the MCU at this point that people are really, really excited to meet. I saw Far From Home a couple weeks ago, and it really affected me. And my husband, he asks me often, he's just like, "What are you, made of stone?" Like, I don't have feelings, and this movie made me feel. So I am beyond excited that he's coming out, and I'm really excited that I can actually share that excitement with the thousands of people that are going to come see him too.
It's time. Talk time. Let's go. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time live. Started in the 80s with Matt Cross. Dudes in the hood might have called that soft, but I carried that cross like Jesus did. Fast forward, I teach the kids to learn how to let go, live life, and show love to all things that don't matter where y'all from. And luckily, there's a show called Talk Time. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Dax kicks the facts on all the geek news, special guests and unbiased reviews. Suburban kids, the hipster street dudes, all can learn something new. Me too. I heard words with no faith is empty. I stayed the course, so my haters tempt me. Beat the podcast, that'll make them envy. It ain't too trendy, it's A.C.M.G. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time. Anime, comics, movies, and games that come on and let's get it. Talk time live.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, the Prime Show. I am your host, Xavier Josiah. Folks, once again, if I sound a little bit different, I'm a little hoarse due to the events of yesterday. I had a family reunion. I haven't got a chance to talk to my family in so long. We've been all, hustling and getting down and doing our things out there, and we're all gathering together to, look at the new generations that we have and have a lot of fun doing it. It's been a while. It's great to see everybody. Hopefully it's not the last. Hopefully we can keep it going. But, being around them, every time we're around, it's a lot of laughter, a lot of fun, a lot of chaotic stuff. A lot of you guys have seen my Facebook page at Xavier Josiah. You can see all the craziness that we do. It's just all good love out there. Shout out to all my family out there. Love them always. And also, it's just going to be a major freaking week this week. And so I'm a bit hoarse from that. So if I sound like an actual DJ from an R&B segment, how y'all doing? It's all right. We're going to keep it good. We're going to keep it chill. We got it. I got you. But I digress. There's so much going on this week. My wedding anniversary is going to be celebrated this week. 14 years of grace and glory and all that other jazz with my wife. Love you to death. And, we had a road. She helped me along this road. If not for her, shielding me and being there for me and becoming the strength that I needed, I wouldn't be here talking to you guys today. Show you right. So, it's awesome. I love her to death. Love you, us. And we got so much more. It just doesn't stop here. We got Keystone Comic-Con coming in August 23rd to the 25th. It's going to be a crazy party in Philadelphia coming up soon. And speaking of which, you guys heard a little bit of a clip from the recent interview. One of my favorite interviews, I'm going to say this year, because it was just a great time talking with her. And this is M.K. Goodwin, the Repops event director who is handling Keystone Comic-Con this year. And we got to talk about everything that is going on, including, if you haven't heard by now, the explosive news that we got from them that Tom Holland, yes, Spider-Man, one of the Avengers, is coming to Philadelphia. We could have had any of the Avengers and I would have been happy, but we got Tom Holland. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I've been a Spider-Man fan, since the 90s and everything. And, you know, I've been saying it, he's the best. So of them all, like, you know, of all the actors that have done it, he's literally the best. You know, you couldn't get any better than this at this time. And we got him, you know, if you rank all the Avengers together, you know, not the initial Avengers, but all the Avengers in general that has come, like, it's RDJ. And I think, respectfully, Tom Holland is probably the most popular after that. And the fact that we got him coming to Philly for one day, and one day only, people. So if you want to see him, you need to get your tickets now. Go to KeystoneComic-CON.com and get them immediately. Like, they've already sold out so quickly, the VIPs and all that stuff, and people want to get autographs and photos with them and everything. Go out of your way. He also will have a panel that day as well. So, you know, if you want more information, go check out the interview I had with MK Goodwin, because we're talking about that. We're talking about everything that is going to happen at Keystone Comic-Con on that interview. So you can go to TalkTimeLive.com to check it out, or go into your iTunes, Stitchers, you know, iHeartRadio, or whatever that you listen to the show in, and, you know, check out that interview. Because if you're in Philadelphia, if you're in Jersey, if you're in Delaware, the whole entire Delaware Valley area, and you want a really cool event that you want to take your family with, you want to take friends with, you got cosplayers, this is the place you want to go. And they got everything going on. Trust me, cosplayers, you want to check out that interview and listen to everything that's going to happen. So go out of your way and check it out. But not only that, I'm going to be hosting 2 panels at this event. My God, 2 panels at this event, and 2 really, really cool panels. One of which is the Art of Street Fighter panel with Udon artist Longvo and the Chamba, aka Jeffrey Cruz, on Saturday, August 24th at 3:15 p.m. I've actually been back and forth emailing these guys. We got some really cool things. They showed me some of the artwork that I actually got a chance to check out, and I'm going to be displaying at that event. So please, if you're a Street Fighter fan, if you've loved everything about Street Fighter, especially the art, come meet the guys behind the art. And we're going to talk about all of that, the history of it, their part in it, and as a part of Udon. And it's just going to be really cool. I'm looking forward to it. Longvo is somebody I did a video on Longvo when I went to San Diego Comic-Con ages ago. And now to be able to have a panel with him on there, I'm a huge fan of this guy's work. I mean, like, a huge fan. And in fact, I didn't realize it, but I spoke with him, and he sent me some of his work yesterday via email, and I didn't realize there's a new fighting game. Well, not a new fighting game. It's been out for a minute, but it's now on for the Nintendo Switch, called Fighting Strike, which is based on not an online. Yeah, it is an online card game. It's based on a card battle online game, and then you can play it offline too. But it's called Yumi. And I didn't put 2 and 2 together that he was the one in charge of the art direction, and he did the art for it. And I immediately just got the game. So we'll be reviewing that game thoroughly next week, along with Kill a Kill If, because I haven't got a chance to review that game either. So that is going to be something I'm going to check out in honor of me actually getting a chance to do a panel with them. Decided to invest, and I will be checking it out this week on Select Stars. So stay tuned for that, definitely. Chamba, also a phenomenal artist as well. You guys have seen his stuff, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He's done a ton of other things, some Marvel illustrations. He's got, like, if you work for Udon, you are the top of the hill of, you know, artists that you're in charge to do Street Fighter, because you're in charge to do Street Fighter. That's a big deal. You cannot be an illustrator and not be a part of that. That's like the upper echelon of illustrators and artists, you know, for one of the biggest video games of all time. You know, I mean, like, probably top 5 of all time, and you're in charge of doing the artwork for it in the franchise. And they both have been a part of some really great projects on video games and comic books, you know, for Udon and for Capcom. So I'm looking forward to that one as well. Then, of course, Sunday, I will be hosting the Voices of Overwatch with special guests Jennifer Hale, Charlotte Chung, and Fred Tatasciore. You guys know them and from many other different games and shows and whatever. But they are the initial voices of your favorite characters of Overwatch. We are celebrating Overwatch and those characters and the people behind them on Sunday at August 25th at 1 p.m. So definitely want to come down for that, especially in the celebration that not only are we celebrating this game, but we're also getting ready for the Fusion Arena that is coming very soon. Hopefully it's going to be in the works very soon. I'm looking forward to it. And, Overwatch League has been a really big thing. I see it every week on Disney, on ABC. ABC, for God's sakes. I mean, that speaks volumes. So, I'm looking forward to it as well. But I'm so blessed right now to be a part of everything that I've done. All the work that is going into, Talk Time Live and A.C.M.G has led up to this, and I'm looking very forward to it. And again, thank, MK and everybody at Repop for, inviting me to be a part of this big event. It speaks volumes of everything. So, but not only that, it just doesn't stop there, people, because I'm going to look out for you, the listeners right here in this show. I am happy to announce that I will be, as of next week, conducting a contest that will give 3 lucky people a chance to win 1 3-day pass to Keystone Comic-Con, courtesy of the great people of Repop. Now, as I'm saying this, we got some rules that we're going to lie ahead. So I'm going to run down the rules. I'm going to let you know how we're going to do this. And by next week, it's on. And good luck to everybody amongst doing it. So the rules are as follows here, as I'm going to put it. Starting next week, during some part of the show, it could be any time of the show that I'm going to do this, I will ask a question regarding something or someone involved in Keystone Comic-Con. If you know the answer to the question, you can email me at info@v like Victor, FISAD.com. I'm going to say that again. info@v like Victor, FISAD.com. And provide that answer. Make sure that you add KSCC quiz answer in the subject line. Now, a lot of what I'm saying right now, I will put on the post that I post all from Instagram and from Facebook on the Facebook A.C.M.G page, and I'm going to put this on Keystone Comic-Con's page as well, so their group page as well. So people will get a chance to, a lot of people, more than just A.C.M.G, is going to get a chance to get a pass on this one. So make sure the subject line is KSCC quiz answer, and the subject line, you will need to add your legit first name and last name that's seen on your driver's license or state ID at the bottom of the answer in order to qualify to enter the contest. I'm going to repeat all of this again next week, by the way. Or I'm probably going to have I might set up a graphic or something that will explain all these rules as well. The first person to get it right and it will be the winner, and will be announced online the following week. The winner will be contacted by me with instructions on how to get their free 3-day pass. Once you have won a badge, you will no longer be qualified to win another one. Again, there will only be 3 chances to win, so make it count. And the respect of the FCC rules for the contest, no immediate family will be allowed to enter this contest to ensure a fair winner. That includes spouses, siblings, parents, children, grandparents, grandchildren, in-laws, past marriages, adoptions, etc., etc., etc. Any immediate family of mine, unfortunately, I got to keep it fair. I want to be as fair as possible to people. I got, what I just talked about family reunion, I got too many of them that will definitely want to go, but, I want to make it as fair as possible for everybody. That is not the immediate family. So those rules will apply for this as well. But definitely, this is going to be a lot of fun. Again, thank you to Repop. We will make this happen starting next week, so stay tuned for that and much, much more. But folks, we got some news to talk about this week other than what I've stated now. So let's not waste any time. Let's find out what's new in the world of A.C.M.G.
And now, it's time to find out what's new in the world of A.C.M.G.
All right, folks, some really cool news. A lot of crossover news this week on Talk Time Live. Let's start with Black Lightning. I knew this was going to happen. This was so inevitable. I mean, we had this conversation in the A.C.M.G Facebook group, And by the way, ACMG Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/ACMG1, 18 or older. If you are a love of all things anime, comics, movies, and games and want to talk about it with a bunch of great people, trustworthy people, not people that are trying to troll or whatever, definitely come down to that page, but you got to have a legit page of 5 years or older as well. But I digress. We had this conversation on the ACMG Facebook group regarding Black Lightning ages ago, and people for some reason didn't realize that they were connected to the same universe as Arrow and all the rest of those guys, but they mentioned Arrow and Flash many a times on this show, so it's inevitable that this was going to happen, and they finally announced it. Black Lightning will appear on Crisis on Infinite Earth, which is the most anticipated, absolutely anticipated crossover series to date from the DCW universe, or some people say the Arrowverse. And this is going to be the biggest one. This is going to be the send-off to Stephen Amell as Arrow, and he's going to be missed, man. Even when in their slowest season, I still enjoy watching that show. You know, they did all their seasons wasn't great. I still say season 2 was phenomenal with Slade, Deathstroke on there. It's just so great. But, you know, they slowed down for a bit, came back up, and now it's time to say goodbye after like 8 seasons, is it? Yeah, I believe it's now 8 seasons is going to be, and this is going to be the final season. So they already said that he's already going to go, and it's going to end off really great. But it's going to, I think this is going to be the passing of the torch between him and Batwoman. So I'm looking forward to that. But I knew Black Lightning was eventually going to, you know, mix up with these guys eventually. And what better way to do it than to bring him in to Crisis on Infinite Earth? Cress Williams announced it on Instagram with a pic of a headline from WeGotThisCovered.com stating that he is in. Cress also wrote on the post saying, "You asked for it, you got it." So it's coming. I'm looking forward to it. Like this, if you've seen any of the previous crossovers that they've done, there has not been a bad crossover dating back since the first crossover between Arrow and Flash, and it's just been so great. And then Supergirl added onto it later on, and then they did Crisis on Earth X, which is, you know, leading to a lot of, it was really good. That was like, to me, their Transformers the movie type of deal, because I mean there were some shocking things that was happening there. Elseworld was the debut of Batwoman into the fray, and now we got Crisis on Infinite Earth, which Elseworld was pretty much the prelude to what's about to happen here. So I'm looking forward to it. I love it, and I can't wait to see it, and seeing Cress Williams as Black Lightning on there. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I finally got a chance to watch the Amazon Video original series, The Boys. I got to tell you, I don't watch a lot of the Amazon, considering how much we pay a year on Amazon Prime. I seldomly get a chance to really watch any of the content that they do. The last content I really enjoyed from there, I did not like The Tick. Did not like The Tick. I did like Jean-Claude Van Damme, but that series never really, you know, they never really pulled the trigger on that one as much as they could have. There was some potential there. But the The Marvelous Miss Maisel was phenomenal. One of their best shows on there. And I heard there were some other ones, but I couldn't resist checking out The Boys. I'm glad I did, because it was absolutely batshit insanely good. It's like, it really, the show gives you a very scary perspective of what happens when you meet your heroes and they are not what they expected. It's just, I mean, you know what it is, the great part? Because they followed it up on everything that's going on today with some of our most iconic heroes, you know, in comedy and entertainment or whatever, sports, whatever. And all these type of things are, you know, these scandals and everything are coming up. And it just, your world stops when you see it. They harped on that type of situation, and they did it extremely well here. This show came off like a comic book version of Breaking Bad and The Watchmen. Like, seriously, it really, in some cases, when you consider some of the characters and everything that's going on here, it's like, I thought it was going to be like a Watchmen clone, but it's insanely not. It really isn't. You got characters like Homelander, who, in my opinion, is a character that just truly gives zero Fs about anything or anyone but himself in this. And he has a bit of a baby mentality, like a Freudian type of, if you ever had psychology class and you study, Sigmund Freud, and there's always the case about, the connection between a son to a mother. And it happens, he has that complex, that Freudian complex in here with certain characters in here. In my opinion, especially considering the way he looks, his face, he is the answer to what happens if Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell end up with superpowers. Bar none. He acts like Zach Morris. He looks like Zach Morris. Difference is he has the powers of Superman. This is the worst person that you ever want to have an actual superpowers, like almost invincible like superpowers. It just cannot happen here. So then you got A-Train. And A-Train is played by Jesse T. Usher. It's one of the most selfish, superpowered speeding drug addicts ever. And he just happened to kill the girlfriend of Huey Campbell after literally running through her, leading to her body completely exploding upon impact. It's just, a lot of this stuff that happens in this show, it's like, it's just mouth dropping. It just as the episodes go, it's just like it gets worse and worse. A-Train, to me, the character of A-Train is the John Jones of superheroes. Like, I'm not joking around. I don't know if they got some of their references from him, but he kind of plays off like what if John Jones had powers, and all the stuff that's happened with John Jones in real life kind of happens to on the show. I will be definitely afraid. It's already, he's one of the greatest fighters ever in mixed martial arts. I wouldn't want to deal with that dude. At one point, and what's funny? I said that this is the type of thing when you don't want to meet your heroes. And you got a character like A-Train here. To me, I used to be a huge John Jones fan, but as time went by and he kept messing up, and he was a role model, and people crapped on him for being a role model, and they kept saying that he was fake. Well, I guess they were right, because down the line, he started doing a lot of crap. He, started taking in drugs. He was, positive tested. He kept crashing cars. He was doing the dumbest things, and he still is in some cases. He's constantly doing stupid things. It reminds me of what A-Train does. So, to me, it's just like, I really feel the show. Carl Urban, Carl Urban, he's been in these comic book movies for quite some time, and he continues to shine on this one. He plays Billy Butcher, who recruits Huey and a few other down a path to try to expose the Seven, which is the superhero team, the quote-unquote Justice League of this show, consisting of A-Train and Homelander and a few others. One character to which she really does try to be a moral and ethical superhero in this whole thing, ends up falling in love with Huey in a sense too. But they try to, the basic deal is that Billy Butcher is trying to expose them for what they really are, and amongst other things that he's looking into, which takes him down a very dark path. And there's a reason why he's trying to, really expose these guys. He has an agenda. He has a vendetta, if you will. So you got that storyline going on too. But like I said, man, unfortunately, this leads down to a dark path that none of them may not want to enter, especially at the end of the season finale with an explosive reveal. It's just the great part about this show too is that all of the casting in this show consists of people majority of them consist of people who have already been in other comic book TV shows or movies. Like, you got Carl Urban, who's been in Thor Ragnarok. You got one of the, I forgot her name. I forgot what her name was. But she's the character that wants to be the actually good nature, ethical, and moral, superhero. But she was in Jessica Jones as well. You got so many other people that's been in the TV shows. Billy Butcher's wife is Patty from The Flash. Just all of them have some form or fashion have been in a really cool comic book themed show or movie. So I love what they did. The casting is really awesome here. The series has blown everybody away. Everybody who's talked about it and seen it it's just unbelievable. Unbelievable storytelling, character development, mouth-dropping, and ultra-violent moments. Like, if you're not used to this type of violence, you might not. It's not for the weak at heart. It's really not for the weak at heart. I am jaded. I am so jaded watching stuff like this, and mostly because I've played Mortal Kombat for years, not just 11, but 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. I've been playing all that for years, so I'm kind of jaded, and I watch anime. Anime is like, look, my first real hardcore anime was Fist of the North Star. If you can't stomach Fist of the North Star at that time, you really couldn't handle what we thought was anime at the time. But now anime is kind of diluted a bit nowadays. It's not as ultra violent as it used to be. But it's it's on that level. It's really on that level. Special effects, CGI, everything top notch. Just they spared no expense in this series. Like, this is Hollywood movie budget that they added on this thing, and Amazon commendable for this. I'm looking forward to the next season. I am eagerly waiting for the next season, because what happened, I won't spoil it, what happened at the end of the season just blew my mind. And again, Homelander is so evil. In some cases, it just becomes comical as to how really he doesn't give a crap about anybody here. But he tries to portray himself as as a Superman, as the son of Krypton, as the one that we all want to rely on, and he gives nothing. And then furthermore, he's a devout, Christian as well, so they kind of play on that thing too, and it just gets really, really crazy from this point on. They get into some deep subject matters in this show. So if you haven't checked out The Boys on Amazon Video, go out of your way to check it out. It's worth it if you're a comic book fan. If you've seen the commercials, which you see it everywhere, it is definitely worth going out of your way to check out. It's about 13 episodes. 13, it's probably, this may actually, when I go down the line this year of talking about some of the best shows in 2016, I'm sorry, now what did I say 2016? In 2019, this may be in the heavy top of that list, guaranteed. I really can't wait. It's just like one of the surprises. Between this and the Umbrella Academy, like these two non-DC Marvel projects have blown people away, and oh my goodness, I might have to watch both again to compare and contrast, but man, The Boys is a heavy contender. It's a very much heavy contender here. So let's move on to some other news and Marvel news. In fact, oh no, let's not go there. Let me get some game news real quick, because NetherRealm Games finally announced, and I never got a chance to do this, and it just came after the Select Start podcast, but we talk about it all here. NetherRealm Games announced that Nightwolf will be coming to Mortal Kombat 11 August 13th. So get ready, guys. He's coming. If you've seen that trailer, man, and again, like I said, I'm jaded. So this may be the best Nightwolf we've ever seen. He's like, his moveset is just phenomenal. It's very heavy, edgy, brutal as all hell. Like, I mean, I've played as Nightwolf before, and we've seen Nightwolf on previous Mortal Kombat games, but here, man, he is brutal as hell. I mean, they are not wasting anything with that. So get ready. That should be, what is this, the 4th? Yeah, that's a week. That's going to be a week from now. So, get ready for that. I love, and I know Sindel might be next because they already showed what Sindel looked like. I'm starting to think that if Sindel comes out there, they're going to save Spawn for last. And I swear to goodness, he better be worth it. I know he will be, but my God, that's the only character I am looking forward to more than, like, I'm going to play as all these characters, but I think Spawn, I am so excited to have Spawn on Mortal Kombat. It's been a long time coming. It's been a way long time coming, so I'm looking forward to that. So let's move into some Marvel news real quick. Marvel Studios TV primetime news. Again, in my A.C.M.G group, I've been saying this for quite some time, and I've been talking to people like this. I've been a big fan of the Runaways. I've constantly watched Cloak and Dagger, which I love. They are slow pacing it, but still love what they're doing with it. But I looked at this show, and I looked at the other shows, and I'm looking at the demographics of both shows, and I'm looking at the characters of both shows, and I'm like, if they miss out on the opportunity to cross over these two, I'm going to be so disappointed. thank God I'm not disappointed, because they just announced that Marvel will be doing a crossover with the Runaways and Cloak and Dagger. There's a short video announcing it. I don't know if this was announced at San Diego Comic-Con, but I think this would have been huge if they did, because I think the crowd would have went crazy over this and would have cheered for this. But they showed the Runaways, and they were talking, and then all of a sudden the camera pans to the right, and there you got the actors who plays Tyrone and Tandy, saying that they're going to be coming together. If you guys remember, on Cloak and Dagger at the last season, they decided to leave town to try to just, help people from around different areas. In some form or fashion, during this season, the third season of The Runaways, exclusively on Hulu, which will premiere on December 13th, they will cross paths with that team, and it's something really huge apparently is going to happen when they do cross paths, and a really huge threat is going to come near them, which is going to enable them to team up, to do a Marvel team up, and vanquish that whoever the threat is. So I'm looking forward to it. It's a canvas thing. It's a canvas thing, especially the fact that with the GOAT. Here's the even greater part about this. So here's the connection. Here's the 6 degrees of the Marvel Cinematic Universe here. If you guys remember, I talked about this in one of the episodes of this show, and talking about an episode of Cloak and Dagger where Tyrone was talking to a kid that he's trying to keep out of trouble, and apparently the kid can't read, so he read for him, and there was an article on Luke Cage. Okay, so Luke Cage is on the Netflix series, which all the Netflix series is, whether you like it or not, or you don't believe it or not, or whatever, they're connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the movies. And then with their connection with the Runaways, that guarantees that they are also connected with the MCU. And if you guys remember in an episode of the Runaways, the mention of Wakanda was on there as well. So, I mean, it all connects again. So they all are a part of the universe that is coming. So it's really cool. There will be, no doubt, they're part of the 4th phase as well. So I'm excited to see this. I've been a fan of both of these shows. I've been following these shows, so I'm looking forward to it, definitely. So get ready. December 13th is so far away, but if this will give you a chance to catch up with both Cloak and Dagger and the Runaways, and I highly recommend the Runaways, especially on Hulu. It was such a absolutely great show. I could tell it's by the people, and I'm even further now that it's by the people who did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, and speaking of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., let's talk about that real quick before I move on, because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just had their season finale yesterday, and I absolutely love what they did here. I love the fact that, we finally figured out that the guy who was supposed to be Coulson Sarge was not him. He's actually an alien who finally got his memory back. Wind up almost killing May. Somehow May managed to stay alive, as always, as badass as Ming-Na is. Ming-Na Wen is always in this show. She is so the Wolverine of this show. Ain't funny. But she managed to stay alive. They managed to defeat that character. And at the very end, and if you haven't seen it yet, spoiler alert, they don't have Coulson, but they do. They built a LMD of Coulson. So Coulson, once again, Clark Gregg, will be back on the show for the final season of the show, but as a LMD. So that is going to be awesome. I am looking forward to this. I love what they did and how they put it together. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will be a missed show. It's been going very strong since the second half of the first season, and I have not stopped enjoying this show, man. So kudos to them. It's been a long running. Like Arrow, all things must end. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to do it and what's going to happen. And are they going to bring back Ghost Rider and, all the other characters, that's been in there in the past that's still around? I am looking forward to it so much in there. So last bit of news I want to talk about, and I want to praise WB Animation for this and shout them out for this. Big shout out to them for continuing to embrace acceptance and change, as they revealed in a recent episode of Young Justice that Aquaman, Kaldor, if you will, is a part of the LGBTQ community. In a recent episode, the last episode that just aired on the DC Universe app, that mostly, and here's the deal. Listen to what I'm about to say here, because there's some people. Not everybody's all cool with this, but there are some people who just heard about this and felt that it was shoving down their throats. Shut the hell up. 1. 2, in this episode, which mostly focused on domestic violence, which is an important subject to talk about, as well as Cyborg refusing help from his father during his time of pain due to the father box that is instilled within him, that is changing him considerably. So they had that situation. They took a moment, just literally a moment, to talk about Caldor wanting to come out and reveal his attraction to Atlantean Man, which he got some great advice. He did. He felt happy. They ended up becoming a couple. That only lasted but a second. So to anybody, and mostly to those who's complaining about it, but never actually saw the damn episode and kept saying it, I'm tired of them shoving things in the mouth, shoving it down our throats, which is ridiculous. Just chill. No matter what anybody thinks, this is a change that is needed and it's inevitable, and it's going to happen whether you like it or not. If you want to continue to, not be about it, then don't adapt. Those who don't adapt die. And that's what's going to happen. Plain and simple. I implore it. I am all for it. It's a great new character direction there, and it's all good. We can't have the same boring stuff all the time. So everyone deserves to have a right to be heard and valued. I remember years ago, my parents, their parents, as an African American, we didn't have that voice. We got the same thing. When we started getting a voice, we had people also saying, I'm tired of people shoving, all this civil rights and all this stuff down our throats and, their equal rights to do yada, yada. This is history repeating itself. And it really bothers me sometimes when I actually hear people of my culture. We should be the most considerate, understanding, actually empathetic group of people to understand this. I don't understand why some people in my culture are becoming what I call Afro Archie bunkers, if you will, and not understanding the situations. Look, here's the thing, and I'm just going to end it right there before we go to our talk topic. It makes no sense for us as a culture, my culture, to argue whether black civil rights is the same as LGBTQ community rights, because at the end of the day, we're arguing at one dead end corner. You got hate crime advocates looking at both of us and say they got a rocket launcher. Who do you think they're going to aim at? They're going to aim at both. Hate crimes have no preferences. They're going to aim at both. One rocket can take us all out. So why not work together to avoid that? That's all I'm saying. Let people be happy, let people live. And that's why I always say, learn to let go, live life, and love all things. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to end what's new in the world of A.C.M.G. We're going to take a break, come back, and I'm going to review what is probably the last blockbuster of the summer. And that is Hobbs and Shaw, starring The Rock and Jason Statham, amongst others. We're going to do that right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dak Xavier Josiah, the host of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, the podcast. You want to catch up with all of our podcast shows and hear from some of the hottest names in all of anime, comics, movies, and games, such as...
This is Miley Flanagan, the voice of Naruto.
This is Stephanie Shea, the voice of Sailor Moon.
This is Ruben Langdon, voice of Ken Masters and Dante from Devil May Cry.
Hey there, this is Kyle Hebert, the voice of Ryu from Street Fighter V.
This is Chris Battle, character designer of Teen Titans Go.
Here's your chance to check out all of that and more on TalkTimeLive.com. TalkTimeLive.com provides all of our A.C.M.G. content with new and previous episodes, exclusive interviews, articles, and much more. Visit TalkTimeLive.com and let us help you learn to let go, live life, and love all things A.C.M.G.
Talk Time Live.
This is Chris Battle, character designer of Teen Titans Go, and you are listening to A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live.
Do it.
And now it's time for our talk topic of the week. Ready? Fight!
All right, folks, we are back with our talk topic of the week, and it is my review of the final blockbuster of the summer, and that is Hobbs and Shaw, the actual spinoff to the Fast and the Furious. And if this didn't get you excited about wanting to see the sequel to Fast and the Furious, I don't know what was. I thought this was a very entertaining movie. I mean, like, I didn't expect much out of it, as I don't with all the Fast and the Furious movies, and they somehow managed to surprise me every single time. And in this case, this pretty much did the same. I mean, I expected nothing but nonstop smash mouth comedy from these two, and Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham work surprisingly well. Like, then again, I don't know why I'm surprised with Dwayne Johnson at this stage. Like, he gels with everybody. Like, he just has the charisma, much like Will Smith. And here's the thing, I'm surprised those two have not decided to do a movie together. Like, do you know how they're like equal powers right now in Hollywood? Like, why hasn't there been a movie of some sort starring Will Smith and Dwayne Johnson? I guarantee you that it'll be explosive. Kevin Hart might be a little bit mad about that, but speaking of which, we're going to talk about that shortly. But honestly, this movie was a, put your brain away, popcorn, fun, explosive movie, everything you expect from an action movie. Nobody expects this to get an Oscar whatsoever. You're just having fun. All you need to do is just have fun with this, and that's exactly what people did when they watched it. If you guys remember from the last Fast and Furious movies, like, these two teamed up before, and Jason Statham was actually the one who killed Han originally. Somehow, some way, this is kind of a Dragon Ball thing. It's like, you got a guy who was your enemy, who actually killed a person in your crew. You guys fight to the death. Somehow, you guys end up being friends. I don't know how or why that ends up working, but it does. And Goku ends up, like, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, Goku, every one of Goku's friends used to be his rogue gallery. Like, they could easily be his rogue gallery because everybody is just people that he defeated who were trying to destroy the universe or the world. So they kind of did the same thing here, and there was a bigger threat than Shaw, period, and that was basically Idris Elba, who played Brixton, who was just genetically modified human with a cybernetic spine that allows him to, be bigger than life. Like a real Superman in this case is what they usually have been saying on this movie. He, like, pretty much is like a cyborg at this point. He has cybernetic implants. He has, his eyes glow, which allows a hub of, computer tech and interface comes in through his eyes. He can see the velocity of your punch, which I thought was awesome. Like, The Rock was, I don't know if people know, but when you throw a punch, they say that you're throwing a lot of weight into somebody. So if you're somebody as big as The Rock, or even say Brock Lesnar, and you're throwing a punch, the punch will have the impact sometimes of a moving car or a bike or or a motorcycle or whatever like that. They really say that it has the same type of force and upon impact that you have. So when you look into, when Idris' eyes started glowing and you started seeing from a first person view of what he's seeing when The Rock threw a punch and he telegraphed it, basically, it showed like his punch was going to like 1,000 pounds, which I'm pretty sure that might be exaggerated because they do exaggerate on this show and in this movie all the time when it comes to The Rock, because The Rock does some extraordinary things in the show, almost superhuman. And then they got Idris Elba doing superhuman things as well. And then they got Shaw, who's just your normal like badass martial artist ass kicker, pretty much. He doesn't need to do it. He knows he knows kung fu. So they got that. And on top of that, they have his sister Hattie Shaw, who, is part of, what is it, MI8, which is like, it's a covert op, military group, out. I forgot, because I know there's a what is it? Cammy from Street Fighter is MIA. And that's where I first heard of that. And I didn't realize that was a real thing. But they had it's like a real operative, military group that she was a part of. And Brixton, the basic premise of this movie was that Brixton was looking to get the virus that they enhance to allow to destroy a large amount of the city or even the world for that matter. She just happened to go extra and inject it into her body. It was up to Hobbs and Shaw to to find her and try to, extract that virus from her and to be able to, guard it from Brixton and keep it from Brixton. So this led to a horde of different adventures between three. The Rock and, Hattie started, getting to things, and this led to a lot of their kind of buddy cop it's pretty much a buddy cop movie, but it basically is like a buddy cop type of situation between the two, and you guys see their chemistry before. This is no different here. It's absolutely fun and fantastic, and they do really well. They gel really well. I love what they did in here. What I didn't know about this movie is that both Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham are the producers of this movie. So you could tell that there's a little bit. It's slightly a bit of a contrast from what you normally see in a Fast and Furious type of franchise. And now you see why. They put a lot of their flair to it. Trust me when I tell you as I'll talk about this. But I absolutely enjoyed it. And it's funny because, in the making of this movie, there was a lot of turmoil between The Rock and the other cast, the original cast of Fast and Furious, because the studios offer this opportunity for The Rock and Jason Statham to do a sequel, but also it means that they're going to hold off the next installment of the Prime series because of this. And this led to Tyrese going on a huge tirade about The Rock and them two having a bit of a budding rivalry as most of this, and then Vin Diesel and The Rock also have been rumored to have a rivalry of sorts as well. It's just been crazy. Then the women of Fast and the Furious also said that, we don't get enough show, and I agree with that as well. They should have their own movie down the line as well. And it just let the whole entire thing to turmoil. So the irony of it is, like, this is a movie about family, and the family is having a discord right now as far as that. But the movie came out. I believe this movie will probably be successful. It's the only really big thing out right now. The Lion King is still out, but I think it's sadly going to come and go. I think they poorly put that in the wrong spot, in the wrong date for that. But this movie was really good. Idris Elba, as always, was a great character. He played a great villain in here. He was a lot of fun. This movie was just a lot of fun, period. Like, there was nothing made to be serious. It was nothing made to be, like, in the sense of being a quality nominated movie. I think it will probably most likely be nominated for an MTV Movie Award or MTV Award than anything. But other than that, it's like, I don't think they were looking to make a movie to be award winning. I think they just wanted to make a fun, action-packed movie, and I think they did that. Helen Mirren, who is Queenie, the mother of Hattie and Shaw, was phenomenal as well. I loved her in here. They had a lot of great things. There were some great surprises in this movie as well. For instance, like, the biggest surprises in this movie was not Roman Reigns at all. Like, they made a big deal in WWE and TMZ and everywhere about Roman Reigns being on this movie. Then we see this movie. He is barely, he does not get a speaking role at all. Matter of fact, he's like in the background. When they show clips of him, it's like a really quick edit. Like, I was really surprised at how much they did not show him in there. Like, they put him so much in the shadows of this movie in comparison to other people. I was really surprised, like, because they made it seem like it was a big deal and all this stuff that he was a part of it, but nah, he really wasn't. I was quite surprised. Elian Soy, who plays Sam, the daughter of Hobbs, she was cute. I don't remember she's like the original daughter that played in the last Fast and the Furious movie either, but I thought she was really adorable here, and she wanted to learn about her heritage and everything, which led to The Rock going back to Samoa and him getting into it with his family because he doesn't visit much, and he left him, and some things happened at that case too. So I thought that was a really cool, side story to that as well, which led to the kind of the climax of the situation. I'll talk about the moment of that really soon too. Lori, what is this? Choisana, who was Safini. She was really cool too. She played Safini. the mama of the island in there, and it was really cool. A lot of really cool side characters in here, but the surprise characters is what I want to talk about. So nobody knew this. There was no talk about it. There was nothing in the articles, to my understanding, but there was 2 major appearances in this movie, which kind of really, in my opinion, stepped up the quality of the Fast and Furious series. And, well, 3, actually, when you count Idris Elba, because Idris Elba is like a big deal. You know, during the Fast and Furious series, there was nobody. That's why I think this is kind of shady, because The Rock is involved. And, and he has clout with other people. So casting certain people was not a problem, which kind of brought the quality up for the movie. In a sense, because Idris Elba, he doesn't just play. I mean, he's played in Heimdall and Thor and all that stuff, but you can tell he's very choosy with what he picks. So it has to really work with him, and I think this him playing Brixton worked very well here. But there was also Ryan Reynolds. No idea Ryan Reynolds was going to be in this movie. He played one agent, buddy, and friend of The Rock, of Hobbs, and to much surprise, he got the airtime in this movie that I thought that Roman Reigns was going to get, and he was so great in this. I mean, he was typical Ryan Reynolds, is what you expect, but he played his friend, who's kind of a stalky type of partner, in his among his ranks, and I thought he was just absolutely hilarious in this movie. Typical. He was really kind of Deadpool. He played his character's name was Locke. And yeah, they didn't mention him. He was uncredited along with the other person I'm gonna mention in a minute. But he played his role really well, and it worked out. He ended up being in the 2 or 3 different parts of the movie. So he was literally he's in the actual universe. But then later on, as they're taking flight on a plane, who pops up out of nowhere but none other than Kevin freaking Hart playing an air marshal. And I'm like, people went crazy over that. You got 2 of the biggest stars out right now in this film, which is connected to the Fast and the Furious film. I don't know if I'm Vin Diesel or Tyrese or whatever like that, but I don't know. I don't know how I would feel on that note that he kind of upped him. They kind of upped Vin Diesel on the case of, we can make a Fast and Furious movie, but we can make it, have a more prestigious cast in there. And taking nothing away from the cast of the original cast, but none of the antagonists. Jason Statham was the biggest guy that they've had as far as antagonists and bad guys in the series, bar none. He's been the biggest character, the most known character in the series that came in, and then later on we got Idris Elba. And then we also have Ryan Reynolds playing a character. And then you also have now Kevin Hart playing a character. That's a heavyweight A-list group. The Rock, say what you will. And this series has been great, but he actually stepped it up by having all these characters involved. These actors involved in it, and all these talents involved in it. It's been great. I mean, God, they could have been great without it, but with it, I thought he did it. This was tremendous. It was funny, and both of them did really well. They were great comedy moments, especially Kevin Hart when he was trying to play the air marshal and he has his Napoleon complex, and he's trying to sound deep voice. They tell him not to talk like that because that's not what you really talk like. And then he calls later on and talks to him while he's in the toilet. So he's in the bathroom. So it's just some really fun, great moments in this game. What you should take away from this movie is that not everything needs to be an Oscar winner. Not everything should be an Oscar winner. You should watch a movie just to have fun, not to critique it as everything that needs to be an Oscar winner, because there are a lot of would-be, fans who try to portray themselves as critics, and they tend to think that every single movie that they see has to be Oscar worthy to someone. No, it does not have to be Oscar worthy. It just needs to be fun. It needs to excite you. It needs to take you through a ride. It is a rare case that some movies take you to such a ride that it's like everybody feels the same thing, but that doesn't have to be the case all the time. Some of the best movies weren't Oscar winners, like Coming to America, for God's sake. Come on. That movie, Boomerang, Yeah, and I'm mentioning all Eddie Murphy movies, I know. But, I mean, just certain things, certain movies that just weren't actual, Oscar winners that people still remember and cherish. And they're considered legends, regardless of the award or not. So this one right here, added to the fact of it being connected to the Fast and the Furious movie, I thought it was a lot of fun. Great. It wasn't the best movie I've seen all year, of course. That by far, it didn't take me through that much of a ride. But easily a lot of fun. So much so that if I give it a grade, it'll be a B+. Because I thought they did a great job. I thought the chemistry was there. I thought the character development was there. I thought the storytelling was there. The fight scene, I got to talk about that real quick because I thought that was funny. There was two things that I really took out of the fight scene. At the end when they went to Samoa and they decided to fight Brixton and his army. And it was a really cool moment. I love what they did. I like the fact that they called everybody Uso, which part of me was like, I know that's a saying in Samoa, but also, were they actually kind of winking the Usos in WWE? I'm not sure. Who knows? But nonetheless, the fight scene was really great. I loved what they did. I thought it was pretty cool. I just swear to God, I went, my wife and I went late at night to go watch this. I kind of closed my eyes real quick, and they were fighting. It was dark at night. I took my eyes open again, and it was daytime. like broad daylight. It's like, wait, they've been fighting for that long? What the hell did I just miss? I just closed my eyes for a second. And that was funny. And then there's another part where, at the end where the helicopter is going away, Hobbs and Shaw decide that they're going to chase the helicopter with a truck. Rock, all of a sudden, for some reason, he had his shirt off, playing the warrior, the Samoan warrior in that scene. And then all of a sudden he puts on a shirt. At this point, why? Why? What is the reason for you need to put on your? I mean, you just. What is it? Cold all of a sudden? Not that I'm stressing it a lot, but I just thought it was really weird that he decided to take time to put on a shirt to chase a guy on a helicopter. Just go. At this point, you already got the damn shirt off. You needed to straighten yourself out and just go. And the shirt was clean as hell too, by the way. It was ironed. It was so I don't know, but I thought that was the significantly weird part about the movie. But everything else was just great. I had a lot of fun. It's another great addition to the Fast and Furious series. If you haven't seen it already, go out of your way. Hobbs and Shaw, the final blockbuster movie of the summer, and check it out. If you love that Fast and the Furious series, I think you will do no wrong. I think I rate that up a little bit better than Tokyo Drift. I love Tokyo Drift, and Tokyo Drift actually was the one that brought me in to fully into the series, mostly because it was Japan based, but the story was pretty good too. But this was a step up above as far as spin-offs to the show, to the series, and I thought they did a great job with it. So I'm looking forward to the next Fast and Furious movie, and hopefully everybody can get along because it's a great cast of people, and I want to see the conclusion of this. Of this thing. If anything, do it for Paul Walker, for God's sake, man. Just, be real family at that. So that will do it for this edition of A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live, folks. Thank you guys so very much again. Again, starting next week, the contest for 3 people to get a free 3-day pass to Keystone Comic-Con starts next week. The first question will be next week, the following week, and the last week, which leads to the week of San Diego. I'm about to say San Diego, which leads to the week of Keystone Comic-Con. So go out of your way, listen to the show. Remember the rules at the beginning of the show. I will actually have post a promo at the end of, or post a promo at the end of the week, or even, depends, end of the week, middle of the week, or something like that, letting you guys know the rules and how everything's done, so you guys can clearly know what to do and whatnot. So definitely stay tuned for all of that. This week on Select Start, as I mentioned, I will be reviewing Kill la Kill If for the PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch, and I believe Steam as well. And Fantasy Strike, which I just got, and which actually stars artist Longvo doing the art direction in there. This is based on the card battle game Yumi, so we'll talk about all that next week. I'm looking forward to talking about that and much more in the world of gaming. Next week, I might actually do the best blockbuster the top 5 blockbuster, movies of the summer. Because we're narrowing it down. It's August. It's about the time. So I do it every year. So we're going to probably do it there. And again, the contest will begin next week. So one lucky winner will get there first. We'll be the first to get a 3-day pass. So stay tuned for that. Folks, thank you so very much. Continue to check us out and support us on TalkTimeLive.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play, Podbean, and wherever you guys can ever find it. Because there's way more other places that you can find the show that people are listening to, apparently. So thank you, whoever you are and wherever you are. Thank you for supporting us for always. Again, thank you, MK Goodwin of Reed Pop, for coming on to the show early last week to talk about it. I'm looking forward to it. August 23rd to the 25th, Pennsylvania Convention Center, Keystone Comic-Con is coming. My panels were coming, the art of Street Fighter, the voices of Overwatch. I will be hosting it on behalf of Talk Time Live. We are representing big time, bigger than ever here on A.C.M.G. So, folks, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see you all there, too. And by the way, I will be having more giveaways at the con. Some of you seen them. I'm giving away some some free drinking coasters with the Talk Time Live logo and a few characters of your favorite characters on there. So if you see me, stop by, say hi, and I'll give you one, bar none. So stay tuned for all that. We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be a great party weekend, guaranteed. So, folks, that will do it. On behalf of myself, this is Dak Xavier Josiah saying, learn to let go, live life, and love all things anime, comics, movies, and games. This is A.C.M.G. Presents Talk Time Live. I am out of here. Folks, have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.